we do such a heavy rotation. You know, I've spoke about the defensive line, but we'll even rotate in our secondary at times. So although the rookies are going to play a substantial amount, and you know, if the package they're on is the first package we throw out there, they will get the start. Everybody's going to play. If you get a jersey on Sunday, you're gonna have an opportunity to contribute.
Coach spoke to Jesse earlier, and we asked him, you know, what does he think this defense is going to look like? And his response basically was, you know, we're not going to really say, kind of wait and see type thing. Do you have a response to that? Is your response kind of the same?
Yeah, our style of play is the number one thing that I hope comes across, you know, and I have great belief that it will. That's not speaking to you know, stats or numbers or, you know, or results, but the style of play, it better scream out loud, and I think it will. You know, everything I've seen out there would lead me to believe that's going to happen on Sunday.
What do you anticipate from the Bucs offense? Obviously, Baker has had an upward trajectory the last couple of years, and they have a lot of weapons, old and new, it seems, this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to challenge us in every single way. Obviously, you know, division games are big, and home division games are even bigger in the way that, you know, I've always believed they count as two. And what an opening game for us, especially for, like you said, a young defense and some guys that maybe haven't played a whole lot, because passing game between Mike and all the other weapons they have, the screen game, it's a problem. Baker, like you said, on this trajectory where, you know, he was always a good quarterback. You know, I remember defending against him when he was with Cleveland, and I was so impressed with him. And hadn't played him for quite a bit now, and to study him for this game, it's like, where did this guy come from? Because he went from good to borderline elite, you know, and he's just been doing an amazing job, and he's surrounded with, you know, really cool talent, and it's schematically a problem as well because they're going to test you in every way. So we're going to have to play our best brand of football to keep this game competitive.
When you have these rookies that you're considering for, in this case, starting roles, what is it as a coach that you need to see that feels like gives you confidence that, like, they know what they're doing, you can trust this player to go out there and play?
I think it all started with, you know, the draft process and, you know, evaluating throughout that. And, you know, we love the football players. I think we loved more the makeup of the 4 defensive draft picks that we got. So we had great hopes that they would be able to be instant contributors, and all they've done since drafting them is prove that to us and demonstrate that we can have high level trust in them. So it's exciting, you know, exciting these guys get to start their career in this way.
Coach, I know you're on the coaching side, obviously, it goes without saying, but this team has had 3 different defensive coordinators the last few years. As a coach, how do you sort of make things easy on the players themselves, knowing that they've had to go through a couple different systems to, you know, learn and kind of restart that over again to where your system is the one that sticks? Yeah,
you know, so the first thing we did was tear everything down. You do that regardless, you know, even when it's your own scheme, you tear it down and you really start from the ground up. And I think we've done a good job of that collectively, both players and coaches alike, just being very slow. We were very intentional, deliberate in the spring of, all right, we aren't moving on until we create a level of mastery to what we're doing. So I don't think you'll see, I know you won't see a whole lot of variance regarding scheme early on, you know, but I'd like to say you're going to see a high level of mastery in what we are doing.
And how vital has Jesse been with kind of taking Xavier, Billy kind of under his wing a little bit? I mean, if he has it all, but just to kind of similar positions, that type of thing, knowing that this is going to be their first start in the NFL?
Yeah, we're just so fortunate. You know, the best teams with the best culture are a byproduct of their best players being their best people. You know, and Jesse Bates absolutely embodies that in every way. The player, the leader, the teammate, the man. I'm sure he's also a better husband and probably a better father than me, and in every way he is, and he's an elite person, and we're so fortunate to have him. And those young guys are just yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better mentor in-house. You know, here's a guy that, especially a guy like Xavier, who has absolutely modeled this game after Jesse and has looked up to him for as long as he can remember, and then get an opportunity to not only learn from him but to play next to him. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, he will be the reason, Jesse is, he will be the reason these guys play a long, long time because they just got such an amazing model of what a pro is supposed to look like.
Have you had this many young guys in the depth chart before?
We have played with a lot of young guys. I don't know about this many in the secondary, so it's, I think that's always, there's always a level of, there's going to be growing pains, as with anybody. There's growing pains just first year of a system, let alone rookies, so there's going to be those moments, those necessary keloids that we all have to have, and you realize why certain coaching points are so important and why we emphasize certain things. Sometimes it's hard to just take people's word for things. You just got to go through it and you got to live it, and that's going to be the case for these rookies at times. But at the same time, they're going to play hard. I know that, and they're going to work their butts off to not repeat mistakes. And at the end of the day, you're going to have a really cool product at the end of this year. I'd like to say the rookies that I have played a substantial amount their rookie seasons, it typically takes to about the bye where they feel like they're drowning. And then all of a sudden, it's like they take a deep breath and the game starts to slow down. The scheme, not only ours, but, others, it all starts to make sense a little bit, So, but the only way, in my opinion, to get there is to go through it, and play.
Is there a most important coaching point, to use your term, for these rookies?
I think finding a process, it goes back to, not to belabor the point regarding Jesse, but like creating a process is ultimately how you create sustained success. And it takes young guys sometimes, some time to understand that and fully grasp that, because in college, especially if you're supremely talented from a physical standpoint, you have success regardless of how hard you study. Obviously, you have more success if you put the time in, invest in. But in college, a lot of guys can get away with maybe an inconsistent process, and I think you learn right away that go find the veteran that you see that has a sustained success, has played this game a long time at a high level, and just soak it all up and just understand everything he does and how he turns every stone and be diligent about a process. You create that, and these rookies they're gonna find some comfort in that, and ultimately they're gonna grow the way we anticipate them growing if they can find that.
Anything else?
Is it hard to have patience with a rookie?
Is it hard? I don't know if I'm very patient to begin with. So I have patience because there's a lot of things that I understand that are normal, and things like that, I can rationalize. It's repeated errors, it's stuff like that from a lack of preparation. But after getting to know these young guys that we have here, that's not going to be the case. It's not going to be from any failure or any obstacles or any bumps in the road that they might have. It's not going to be from a lack of trying or preparing or effort or dedication to this thing. It's going to be just normal stuff, and for that, although it's going to, it frustrates everybody at times, I know what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. So I remind myself of that, and we're going to be all right.
Just one more. No one's wanted to say what the defense is going to be. Can you give us a one-word description of what folks might see on Sunday?
One word. That's hard.
You give them 3.
Yeah, and it's something that it's like, it's something I've spoken on before, and not to be redundant, but sometimes I'm intentionally redundant, because it's something that really matters to me is our identity of being this heart, mind, fist defense. I'd like to say the casual fan that maybe doesn't know a ton about football, they're going to walk away seeing a defense that strains and plays with passion and has real connection with each other. I'd like to say that they're going to see a defense that executes at a high level. There's a high level of precision, communication, synergy, and ultimately there's going to be a level of violence that they haven't seen for a while.
Do you have that tattooed anywhere?
I need to.
You don't have it yet?
There's a player and a coach that I've been with that has that tattooed, so maybe I'm next. I should be next. Nothing. It's coming. Just I need some time. Yeah, it's coming.
Seeing different looks and stuff like that, but now that we're here and we have an extra week to like study and prepare for them, I just can't wait.
How big does this matchup feel with the Bucs, with it just being a division rival and someone, you got to make an impact early?
I mean, this is the game that sets the tone, I think, for us as a team for the whole season. And, with us, like, we understand that this is a division game, but, we're taking this game like it's a championship game, and that it's the most important thing that's in front of us. And for us, like, we got a tough matchup coming up, so, like, handling that the right way and, being the more aggressive, more physical team and just owning everything all 4 quarters, like, well, everything else will take care of itself.
What kind of strides can this offense make this season, just with as you guys get more comfortable? I know Penix taking over a little new, but definitely have some familiarity with Robinson and what you guys want to do.
Yeah, I mean, in the year 2 offense, like it's a drastic difference. With year 1, like around this time, we were still trying to like learn a couple plays, learn some things, learn some formations, but now like we got everything down packed and we have so much more. That we have going on. So like for us, I think it's a blessing having, a year 2 coordinator, especially one as talented as Coach, Z-Rob, and, everything that he does for us and gets us in space and let us just do what we do. It's pretty special.
What do you expect in terms of your workload this season? Do you expect it to be as high or higher than last year?
I mean, hey, it's whatever, it takes to help this team win. I'm gonna do as much as I can during every single game to, put us in the best situations and, impact us the best way possible. And for me, like, when I'm on that field, like, I want to be a threat to everybody around me on defense, and to let them know, like, this is, it's going to be a challenge to stop all of us. And I think that whatever the workload is, like, that's what I'm ready to do.
Is that something you talked with Christian about this offseason, how to manage a heavy workload? He's been through that several times in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. And he just told me, like, you just take it 1 week at a time, especially like with my preparation, just take it 1 week with recovering in my body. And the thing that even helps me, like, we still got Tyler, so I don't got to do everything myself. Like, we still have another guy that's so much is capable to dominate as well, and it just helps me out, helps him out, and creates so much like longevity for us because we can just rely off each other whenever we like need a break or something like that.
Some backs say that they feel like they get better once they hit a certain volume. They need to sort of get worked in to get laddered up a little bit. Do you feel like that? And if so, what's that threshold for you?
No, when you step on the field, like, I'm ready to go. I know there's some guys that say like they need like some carries and stuff like that, but I mean, it can pop carry number 1. You can go carry number 1. So like, for me, like it's right away.
Random topic. Do you think it's weird there are so many left-handers on this offense?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until like when we started camp. I was like, damn, we have a lot of lefties on this offense. But I think it's pretty cool, man.
Does your form change any? Does the way that does that affect it at all?
Catch the football?
Yeah, or
No.
catch or the pocket that you create, does that matter at all, left-handedness?
No, not at all. You just when Mike throws the ball, like, you just kind of get used to it, and I mean it looks the same kind of to me, so it's all good.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
What do you remember from the 2 games last year against the Bucs? Overtime here, and Cal had a big game down there with a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 wins. Like, it was great for us. We understood the assignment. We picked up everything. We, did everything we were supposed to do. And I think this year we're even more explosive than even last year. So, I think it's going to be just a fun matchup. And for us, like, last year was great, but this is a new season, new year. They got a new team, and they got some new guys. So that's what we're looking forward to.